All right, all right. Come on in. Let's get Qigong. Thanks for coming, everybody. Come on in, say hi. Thanks, Linda. I haven't even started yet. How could you possibly know? So excited to be doing this. I have a little new schedule. So if you're not on my email list, maybe you didn't hear about this. Jump on my email list over at nicklawfrey.com. Thanks, Deborah. Yeah. So I'm trying to make a little more regular thing of the YouTube live. So I've actually stopped doing my private Zoom classes, although I'll still be doing some like Zoom workshops and stuff. But instead of doing Zoom classes throughout the week, I'm going to be doing them on here on YouTube Live. So, so we got a new schedule. It's going to be what's today? Wednesday. So Monday, Wednesday in the evening if you're in the United States. So that's 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can also tune in Australia, like Anata is, which I believe it's 11 a.m. there right now. So we finally got an Australia class for you, live Australia class. And then it's going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific or noon, or sorry, 9 a.m. Pacific or noon in New York. So Debbie says, normally my bedtime here in New York, but I'm going to see what happens. Okay. Justin said, excited to try out this new schedule. I'll try and catch the replay. Gonna have some sushi right now. Oh, sushi sounds good. Melia Kua says, excited about the new schedule. Excited you're excited. Hey, Justin in Calgary. Hello, Joseph. All right, well, looks like we got enough people coming in. So you guys got any requests for me today? Let me know in the chat. Let me know if you got anything you want today. Requests. Thanks for requests. Hi, Nick and all from Austin. Thanks for the classes. Help with emotional cleansing and calming and dealing with expelling fear tonight would be great, please. And thanks. Happy to help. See if we can do that. Qigong's usually pretty good at those things. Any other requests? We'll give you 30 more seconds. Then we're going to get moving. What do you think, Kona? Want to do dog Qigong today? Would you guys like some roast pup? Requests. Let's see. We got motivation. Well, if you're showing up and doing Qigong at all, that sounds like your motivation's pretty good. It's the hardest part with Qigong. Qigong can be pretty easy, but actually showing up to do it, sometimes the hardest part, huh? Evan says, happy with everything. Janet says, it's the middle of the night in the UK. We'll do later. It is the middle of the night, isn't it? This is the Australia class for those outside of America. So Karen said, headache needs help. Oh, headaches. Okay. Strengthening knees, legs, and feet. All right. If I can type fast enough, something for neck pain and mobility would be fantabulous. All right. So we're kind of getting everything now. So let me think about this. Sorry. Strengthening the lower body, stretching the upper body, something to build some motivation and release stuck emotions. See what I can do. Somebody was saying I was the master of Qigong improv the other day. I think that's a great way to put it, Qigong improv. But I will say I learned from the master Lee Holden, who you might not see this if you don't take his live classes, but he does this too. All right, let's get moving, everybody. All right, all right. Everybody got their chi dog with them? Let's bring the hands up. All right, he's being very polite now. He's being impolite all day. And now he's being very nice once people are watching. We're going to start with a little twist. So you're just going to turn from side to side, picking up your back heel, pivoting on your toe mound, letting the momentum of your arms pull you into a little spinal twist. There's a nice opening at the upper back. We'll just start to find our breaths here. There's nothing special you got to do, but try to breathe into your nose and just find the breath. Start to notice it. You're gonna take your hands a little lower. You can deepen and widen your stance slightly. Get a little more twist into the low back. And if this makes you real dizzy, you can keep your gaze forward. So your gaze is kind of staying on one spot instead of swirling around the room, and that'll keep you from getting dizzy and falling over. If you want more twist, you can look over your shoulder. All right, let's plant our feet, toes pointing forward. Give that door of life a nice knock. Door of life's your low back region. In Qigong, at least. In acupuncture, it's a very specific point right between a couple of vertebrae there. But in Qigong, it's a whole low back region. So we wake that up. We say this is sort of the center of our vitality, this region. When it's nice and open, moving with qi, the whole body gets filled with vitality. Keep finding your breaths here. Find a nice spinal twist. Let your shoulders be relaxed, regenerating the movement from the legs, from the hips. Arms just relax and swing around. Let's just hit a few more pressure points. Bring the front hand up to your chest, not just below your collarbone. Pressure points for the lungs, specifically lung points 1 and 2. Live in this little pocket here where the collarbone meets the shoulder, little soft pocket under there. We'll come up for gallbladder 21, which is right in the center of the trapezius, so right between the neck and shoulder. So just give that a little slap. And back down to those lung points. And a diamide, chi belt. Slap across your belly and waist. And let's slow this down. Very nice. All right, let's open through the joints a bit, finding our rooster spreads its feathers. We're going to touch the fingers and thumbs together. Hold that over the chest. We're just going to start to open the shoulders, as well as opening the spine a bit more. So we're going to sort of sink the chest back, pull the chest forward as the arms move. Think of your elbows here, not just as circling, but as reaching out of the elbow or the shoulder joint. Like you're trying to make a little space in the shoulder joint as you make the motion. A little outward reach through those elbow tips. And let's go the other way. Circle backwards. Keep opening the back, the chest. Grinding out anything stuck or stagnant, any connective tissues or fascia, especially around the shoulder blades here, that feels stuck, just sort of grinding away that stagnation. Let's go one arm at a time now. Reach the elbow up towards the sky. This one, we're also going to find a little length on the waist. So try not to lift your hip up with it, but keep the hip anchored away from the elbow and shoulder. But as we lift up, get a little bit of length and stretch here on the waist. And go the other way again. We're swimming backwards. We go over, think of pulling the elbow up, grounding the hip down. Okay, bringing us to the sides. Let's find a little stretch. Stretching with our crane's beak here, fingers and thumbs together, curl it in, press out with the back of the hands. Find an angle where you get a little stretch coming up the back of the arm. And pull your shoulders down, lift the crown, tuck your chin back. Try to pull that stretch up the back of the neck. And we'll take it to the side of the neck, leaning the head over to one side, and just give the head a nod over that shoulder. So sort of move the stretch from front to back of the neck, ideally also all the way down the back of that arm. Take your chin to the chest. Let's go to the other side. Roll back and forth. And release. Good. Give it a shake. Shake it out. Very good. This next one, it's a bit complex. So don't worry if you don't get it perfect on this first one. We'll kind of keep weaving this into the lives over the next few days. And hopefully we get it a little bit in the muscle memory and it'll be a little more fun to go through. But it'll be great if you get it today. So this is 5 stances from Shaolin Kung Fu. None of these have anything to do with you fighting anybody, but they're a really great workout for the legs and also build some nice mobility in the hips. So this one's for you, Anata, in Australia. So I'll just demonstrate first. So you can just watch me. You can try to follow along if you want, but maybe just watch me one time. So we have 5 stances. First one, just here, horse stance. Second one, palms back or fists back. Third one, block by the shoulders, sink. Fourth one, step back, cross step. Fourth one, lightly touching the toe, guarded stance. Then it comes back. So I just watch one more time. I'll go through it a little quicker. Pull back, block, cross step, guard, horse stance. Okay. So we'll do that. You have 2 options here. So you can do it like I was doing, a full horse stance, feet about twice shoulder width. And if you notice that that affects your knees in any way that hurts or any other joint, or it's just too hard, you can do it from just a slightly wider than shoulder width stance, like a half horse stance. So in this case, you would just sink down a little bit. As we go through the motions, you would over sink into it and send your knees over your toes and things like that. You just do it all kind of high up and gentle. So you're not like over extending into everything from that position, which is fun for your knees. So feel free to do a little gentler version. I'll demonstrate from the horse stance again. And let's do it together. So the horse stance, feet are about pointing forward. It's okay if they're a little out, but try not to totally point 180 degrees or anything. We're going to sink down, press our palms together. First direction, we're going to go left. So I'm going to mirror you. We're going to turn into our lunge to the left, meaning lifting the back heel, knees stacked over the ankle. The hands are going to reach forward, spiral into fists, pull back like you're holding handlebars at the side of your ribs. That's stance number 2. Remember this one. Number 3, we're going to open the left hand, bring it forward. We're going to turn our feet back forward like we're going to horse stance. We're going to bring the left hand around to the right shoulder, like we're saying talk to the hand to somebody here, but it's really like we're blocking somebody from hitting us in the face. So the hands by your shoulder like that. We're going to take the right toes, turn them out a little bit so that we can sink into the right knee. Then it tracks nicely over the foot. And we just turn a little bit to our left. So even though we're sinking to the right, we turn left. That's stance 3. Remember this one. Stance 4, you're going to come back to the center, turn those right toes back straight forward. Take your left foot and cross step behind the right. Left foot cross steps behind the right. And we're keep that left heel up. Our feet wind up in this weird perpendicular 90 degrees thing. So these right toes stay pointed over that way. We're going to take the hands, take the right hand up and over, press it down like we're pushing on somebody's head. And then the other hand's going to push forward like you're pushing somebody away. So you go up and over and forward with the left hand. Like this. Okay. Last one. That's stance number 4. Number 5, you bring that left foot back up. Touch the toes gently on the ground, but stay weighted in the right foot. Both hands drop and circle up on the left. And then come down in a guarded position where both palms are like face towards an imaginary opponent. Your right hand near the left elbow. And this one, if you want, you can really sink into it. Stay a little higher if it's already hard. Let's step back. Horse stance or your half horse stance, wherever you're at. Back to pose 1. Good job. Let's try on the other side. So we're just going through real slow today. Turn to your right, lift your left heel, hands extend, form fists, pull back to your ribs. That's number 2. Number 3, we're going to turn back, open the right palm, bring it to the left shoulder, talk to the hand, turn the left toes out, sink to the left side, turn to your right. Very nice. Come back up. That's number 3. Number 4, turn your left toes forward. Take your right foot and cross step behind the left. Take your left hand. Come up and over. Your left hand, press down as the right hand presses forward. Wind up in this position. Left hand palm face down by the elbow. Right hand extending forward. All right, last one. That's number 4. Number 5, you're going to take your right foot forward. Touch the toes gently on the floor. Drop both hands. Circle up on the right. And coming back down to that guarded position. You can think about as low as you want and really listen to those knees. Back to the center. Horse. Let's step it out, give it a shake. Very nice. We'll go through this one more time. This time we'll try to flow through it. Most of you are probably just learning this for the first time, so don't worry if you're kind of tripping over yourself trying to flow through this, but we'll keep working on this over the next few classes. So let's find number 1 again. Horse stance, sink, turn to the left, extend the hands, pull back fists. Turn back to the center, left hand to the right shoulder, sink to the right, turn to the left. Turn the right toes forward, left foot cross steps, right hand comes up, presses down as the left hand presses forward, sink. Left toes forward, circle up on the left, and down in the guarded position. Back to the center. Sink. And last time to the other side. Turn to your right, extend the hands, pull back fists, turn to the center, open the right hand, bring it over to the left shoulder, talk to the hand, left toes turn to the left, sink to the left, and the torso turns to the right. Bring it back up, turn the left toes forward, right foot cross steps behind the left, left hand comes up, presses down as the right hand presses forward, and we sink. And right toes come forward, hands drop and circle on the right, come down to guard, we sink. Back to the center, step it in, pull down the sky, let it aside. Very nice. Shake it out. Shake it out. Very good. The nice one too. Feel a little strength in those quads. I don't know if you feel the quads burning on these guys, but I usually do. All right, let's stretch that out a little bit. It's a nice simple stretch for the lower body. You're gonna take your palms to your low back. We're gonna slide down the back of the legs with bent knees. Feet are about hip width on this one. We're gonna come to about behind the calves or the ankles, wherever you seem to reach. And then we're just gonna slowly straighten the legs and use the hands to pull ourselves into a gentle stretch. And then slowly bend the knees and lift our chest up a little bit. I'll just do that with a few repetitions with breath. Exhale, straighten the legs. Don't have to straighten them all the way. Find the stretch. Then inhale, bend the knees, and just lift a little out of the stretch. A little bit like a yoga sun salutation stretch here. Just a few repetitions. This last one we'll hold the stretching part. And bring your hands around the feet to the inside of the ankles, drawing up those inner yin channels on the legs. Bring it to your low back again. And we'll brush down the yang channels, down the back of the legs. Straighten the legs, stretch those channels. Inhale, relax the back of the legs. Exhale, stretch down the back body. Inhale to relax. Couple more. Last one, hold the stretch. And so the inside of the legs, drop those yin channels. This time bring it to the dantian. We'll just pause there and widen your feet a little bit, shoulder width. We'll just breathe to the dantian. Dantian's between your navel and your pelvis. You just place your hands between there. Feel the breath moving there. So we consider this a place partly to cultivate chi and vitality, all this kind of cool stuff that happens, but mostly the most practical thing that happens here is we anchor the mind. So we see this as like an anchor point, psychological anchor to bring us below our chattering thoughts, below our turbulent emotions, like a stone sinking to the bottom of a lake, below the choppy water at the surface, down to where there's stillness, calm. Just find that here when we breathe here. Very nice. Let's release. Give everything a little shake. Yeah, let's keep loosening up that upper body. This is probably my favorite upper body stretch. We call the stork, spreads its feathers. Palms are face forward. You're going to send your hips back as the arms circle in front of you. And then pull those fingertips down as you lift through your chest. Spread the fingers. Look for a stretch down the back of the arms. Turn the palms forward. Gather in front. Hips go back. Then stand tall with the chest as the fingers pull down, and then add the head. The chin tucks back. The crown lifts. You pull the stretch up the back of the neck. So again, palms forward, circle. Stand tall, extend the crown, pull the fingers down, stretch. Let's do a couple more with breath here. Exhale, circle. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, circle. Inhale, stretch. And we'll hold the stretch. Again, take the head to one side and give it a slow nod over the shoulder. For that stretch on the back of the hand, up to the side of the neck. Breathe slowly with it. Deep, slow breaths. All right, take it to the other side. Slow breaths, nod the head. One more. And release. Shake it out. Let's do the other side. Now we start with the palms face behind. You're going to circle behind yourself. Spiral by the ribs. Open up. Palms are turning outwards now as the fingers pulled in. Palms turn behind. Circle behind. Send the hips back. And then open up. Fingers pull down. Palms turn out. Spreading the feathers. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale to stretch. Again, adding that chin tuck and crown lift. Pull the stretch up the back of the neck. Hold the stretch. Head to one side. I like to usually alternate which one's first or second. Feel free to join me on that. Give your head a nice slow nod over the shoulder. And some slow, deep breaths. Over to the other side. Slow, deep breaths. Inhale back, exhale forward. Sometimes nice to let those breaths, those exhales out your mouth as we stretch. Consider stretching a purging exercise in Qigong. It helps to release stuck energy, like stress, anxiety. Qigong, we see our emotional patterns as in our body more than our brain. So everything we're doing, stretches to the knocking to flows, just thinking about how our body is affecting our emotional and mental states. And vice versa to some degree. All right, let's let that go. Give it a shake. All right. Let's just start to shake through the whole body. Just give yourself a bounce, bouncing from the knees and ankles. Letting everything above that just relax. Typically, the shoulders are particularly emphasized in Qigong to relax. In Tai Chi, feel those letting go, shoulder blades sliding up and down your back. Another area we try to release is called the Yao. This means your low back muscles, but also the muscles of the waist. So this area here. Try to feel this release. So it's like the pelvis and the rib cage are getting a little more space between them. So the pelvis gets heavy, just pulls on the muscles of the yow. Just let a few sighing breaths out your mouth as you keep shaking. Going to change my audio here because we're going to do the healing sounds in a moment. I need you to be able to hear the sound. One more deep breath. Slow it down, pause, feel your chi, feel your body, find a nice stance here. We often wind up at two extremes with our stance in Qigong. One is typically the feet are a little too wide and pointed out. So we're doing everything from here. And this, they say, leaks the chi. It's like your pelvis is too open. The feet are too open and the chi just falls at the bottom. The other one I often see is the feet are a little too narrow. People are practicing like this, and this is too ungrounded. You don't feel a firm and wide enough base. So the general rule is just right under your shoulders. If you find where your shoulder, your hands point, if you hold them right below your shoulders, your feet should be right below the hands. And the general rule is they can be just outside of that, like 1 foot's width outside the shoulders or 1 foot's width inside the shoulders, but they shouldn't be any narrower or any wider than that. Okay, so you have a little bit of wiggle room for what feels comfortable for you. Of course, you can technically do anything. You don't have to do anything I say. So this is what is thought to be the most effective. All right, let's enter the flow here. We're going to find our Tai Chi opening. So here's where we're shifting gears away from the sort of physical practice of opening and stretching and strengthening the body to more practice related to our nervous system, to our energy, to our breath. So here we move with softness, grace, fluidity. We do everything as slowly and gently as possible. You can find your breaths here. You're inhaling through the nose as the hands lift up to shoulder height. Exhale through the nose as the hands float down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink. So through these flows, it can be nice to match the teacher, it can be fun to match the class with the speed of the motion and breath. But if you feel like your body's asking you to breathe and move slower, like you're ready to go a little deeper, and that's actually a goal we're aiming for. We want to be able to slow the breath further and further. That'll mean slowing the movement to match that. Of course, if you feel like you're not getting enough air, you might need to move a little quicker than me and breathe a little quicker than me. So feel free to do that. Now that I'm not doing it with you, feel free to move whatever speed you want. I'll be back in a second. Keep flowing, keep breathing. Okay, so we're going to go into 5 or 6 actually separate flows. One for each healing sound. These sounds are done in a whisper, so sometimes I describe them using my voice and my vocal cords. You're still going to do them all whispered, meaning you're not going to feel any humming in your throat. It's just a whisper in the mouth. These sounds are thought to clear stagnant energy, mostly like negative emotions, from our various internal organs and acupuncture pathways. So each of these sounds is named after an organ, but actually clears more than just that organ itself, the whole energy network associated with that organ and various tissues and other organs associated with it. But to keep it simple, we'll just mention the single organ. So the first flow is called the white crane soaring. We're going to lift the hands up and open our big crane's wings. We're going to flip our palms face up, sink our chest and hips back, close the wings in front of the chest. Turn the palms down and open the wings. We're going to use our breath here. So exhale, sink the chest back, close the wings. Palms face down, inhale, open the chest, open the wings. Let's do one more with the breath and we'll add the sound. The sound is a long letter S. Just a long S sound. Let's try that together. We breathe in through the nose. Very important that we breathe in through the nose. And out with that letter S. Clearing any stagnant chi associated with the lungs. Usually this manifests as sadness, depression, or grief. That's what we're trying to clear out with that sound. Think of the sound as vibrating and dissolving any negative energy like that. Clear it out from the body. Bring the hands down. And so after clearing the negative energy, we want to cultivate the energy we do want. So let's bring the hands over the lungs. I'm just going to float there in front of the lungs, maybe a foot away. Find a comfortable stance, ideally your Qigong stance. Tailbone sinking, crown floating, all that. And you begin to imagine white light shining in your lungs. Sparkling white light. As though we were standing on a mountaintop surrounded by sparkling white clouds. We're breathing that white light in through the lungs. This white light was filling us with a sense of hope, courage, and optimism. Positive attributes of the lung chi or the metal element, metal phase of chi. Hope, courage, and optimism. It's a white light shining in the lungs, shining through the whole body. Drawing it in from the clouds. As we try to cultivate this positive energy, it's okay to still feel challenging emotions, challenging energy. Just think of it like you surround that challenging energy with that white light. Like giving a hug to a crying child. You're not trying to make or force the child to be happy. You surround it with loving energy. And eventually the child will slowly transform its energy. But we have to be very patient. All right, let's let that one down. Moving on to the kidney flow. This is what we call the fountain. We're going to bring the back of the hands towards each other. Draw up to about chest height. Sink the elbows and float the hands out. Our hips sink back. Back of the hands towards each other. It's like a fountain of energy drawing up the center of the body and then flowing out the arms. Hips sink. We exhale. Inhale, fountain of energy draws up the body. As we exhale, we float out and down. Inhale, draw up. Exhale, sink down. And from this one, we'll add the kidney sound, which is a whispered choo, C-H-O-O, and a whisper. Choo. In through the nose and clearing with the sound. Choo. Keep it going, nice and slow. Say from the kidney or water matrix, we clear fear and insecurity. Relax. You're going to bring the palms over the back, over the kidney area. Kidneys are sort of at your mid-back, but if all you can reach is your low back, that's fine. Kidneys are governed by the water phase of Qi. The water region is the whole low back and the kidneys. So we're going to imagine that whole area on this filled with deep blue light. A deep blue like the Pacific Ocean. Imagine you're standing on a cliff looking over the Pacific at night. The blue light of the heavens, blue light of the night sky is reflecting off the water. Like a blue mist comes off the ocean, sparkling with that starlight, energy of water. It surrounds your body, blue mist. Breathe in. Breathe into the kidneys especially. Imagine that blue light is bringing a sense of inner stillness and tranquility. Calming our fear. Filling us with stillness and peace. Let it down. Bring your palms face up in front of you. Our next one is for the liver. Healing color is green light for the liver. This is kind of fun with the lights, huh? This one is called The Tree Sways in the Wind. We're going to turn to one side, draw up the side of the body. The hands will come over the head. We turn back to the center. And the hands float out to the sides. Let yourself sink a little as the hands come down. Turn to the other side, draw up, feel yourself stand a little taller. Turn to the center, float out and down. Exhaling here as the hands come down. We turn and inhale as the hands draw up. Turn to the center, exhale down. Turn to the side, inhale up. And on this next one, we'll add the liver cleansing sound, which is SH. SH, like you're asking someone to be quiet. And say from the liver, we clear anger especially, but also stress, jealousy, envy, all the emotions that associate with anger. Also clear any brain fog that is muddling the mind or indecisiveness. So the Greeks had a really interesting myth about anger. Most people know the myth of the Cyclops, a giant angry creature with one eye. And you might know it from different stories where the Cyclops always seems to be chasing the hero and trying to crush him with a big log or something. And the reason the Greeks say the Cyclops is angry is because it only has one eye. And so has a very narrow vision. It can only single-pointedly focus. It can only see one perspective at a time. And so that's why in this motion, we think of this opening, expanding of the mind and vision. That's what this motion represents. Going from a Cyclops to something with a lot of eyes, I guess. Open our perspective so we can see things from different angles, step outside of our usual way of thinking, put ourselves in other people's shoes. This is what helps us to release our anger. Let that be our last one. I'll bring it in for the color. So you're going to bring your hands over the right side of your rib cage. So make sure it's your right, so it'll be this side. I'm going to do my right, so don't copy me. Don't want to put the wrong color in the wrong organ. So you're under your right ribs, you have your liver. It's the biggest internal organ in your body, so it really fills up this whole space. You're going to imagine this whole area, right ribs, that is the ribs that are under your chest, filled with green lights. Green lights, so you might imagine like you're standing in a forest. That forest has a big green canopy overhead, green ferns around your feet, green moss up the trunks of the trees. And that all the sunlight is being filtered and reflected from all this green. Just bathing you in green light, little Shinrin Yoku of forest bathing of green light. You can imagine you breathe it in through the whole body and mind, but particularly the hands helping direct it into the liver, cultivating the opposite feelings of anger and stress, cultivating kindness, flexibility, and generosity. Yeah, let's let that drop down. Give your arms a little rest. We go from wood to fire, liver to heart. We'll find a little flow for the heart here. We're going to take our left palm face up, with the left fingers pointed to the right elbow. The right hand is just kind of extended a little bit forward, so it's not too tucked in. It's not straight forward, just like a little bit bent forward. The movement starts to our left. We're going to turn to the left. You're going to take this left hand, bring it up by the forehead like you were shading your eyes from the sun. And the right hand is going to push underneath across your chest with the arm, across your chest. So if you're not pushing across the chest, you're just pushing out from the shoulder, you got the wrong side. So always make sure you're coming across the chest, because this represents clearing the heart, pushing from the heart. Bring the left elbow into the right fingers. Form this shape again. Think of this like a letter L. We turn to the right. Lift the right hand up to block the sun. And the left hand pushes from the heart to clear the heart. Elbow into the fingers. Letter L. Turn. Left hand blocks the sun. Right hand pushes from the heart. Bring the elbow into the fingers, letter L, turn, lift the right hand, press with the left. A little more complicated to get this one, but let's add our breath here. Inhale through the center. Exhale to slowly lift and gently press. Inhale, bring it back in. Exhale, slowly lift, gently press. Don't overextend, don't overreach. Keep it super gentle. Inhale, center. Let's add the heart sound. Heart sound is a whispered ha. Inhale to the center. Exhale, whispered HA. This one, because we open the mouth so wide, there's a tendency to release all the breath very quickly. So try to keep a little restriction in the throat and make it very gentle and soft so the breath still takes a long time to leave the body. Okay, that'll be our last one. Let's bring it back in, relax. Find our color, obviously red. Let's bring it over the heart. Crossing the centers of the palms over each other, so not your fingers crossed, not your wrists crossed, centers of the palms, this point, Lao Gong, fire point. I'm gonna hold that in front of the chest without touching the chest and without touching the palms together either. So all the connections are purely energetic. Slow your breath down, pay attention to your heart. And you don't have to do all the nature imagery. You don't really have to do any imagery. You could just pay attention to the organ, and the attention itself brings the chi there. But if it's not too much of a struggle for your mind, you can imagine warm red light in the heart, so the heart were a setting or a rising sun. Warm and radiant. If you really like to visualize, you can imagine that you're looking out over the ocean at a red sunrise or sunset. If you have any heart issues, like you tend towards hypertension, then you might soften that red light, make it a pink, a reddish pink. It's said to be a little gentler on the heart. Imagine that this red or red-pink light represents our warm-heartedness, fire-type energy in the heart, warm and radiant. Cultivating an all-encompassing love and acceptance in the heart. Separate the hands, bring it down, relax. Let's give the shoulders another little rest. If you're doing this practice this evening where you are, this is a great evening practice, by the way, doing the healing sounds. Often better to do a purging practice more than a building practice in the evenings. Our next element is earth. The organ is the stomach and pancreas. Technically the pancreas, but the stomach gets associated as well. And sometimes it's a little easier to think about your stomach than your pancreas. So palms are face down like they were resting on a pond. We're going to sink the hips down just a little forward with the chest. We're not going to lean forward a lot. It's a common mistake. But as those hips sink down, the hands are going to go out like ripples across the pond. We're going to stand back up. So the hands come back in towards the solar plexus. That's your upper abdomen, the region of your stomach and pancreas. Palms are flat. They go out across the pond. Hips sink. They come back in as we stand back up. So we'll do that with breath here. Exhale, hands go across the pond. Inhale, bring it back in. Exhale, pulsing from this region. Inhale, drawing back to it. It's funny, this made me burp, which is hilarious because of the stomach sound. This actually tends to happen a lot. Stomach movement, sorry. Let's add the sound. Sound is ho, whispered. Whispered ho. I apologize if you can't hear these sounds very well. This one's a little funny. It's done sort of guttural. We'll do it a little closer to the mic. So try to do it from the back of the throat as though you're breathing out of your stomach. Here we clear any sense of feeling scattered, or is there any sense of overthinking or worrying? So like the mind, overactivity of the mind, scattering our energy. Clear that out with the sound. The question you might ask is, are these sounds really some sort of magical formula that really clears these feelings and emotions? Are they somehow related to our instincts and biology, the way sighing tends to be a natural instinct to release stress? Or are they just kind of made up, but because we practice them over and over again and associate them with the clearing of certain patterns, that association becomes stronger over time and makes them effective just because we make them effective and we keep practicing them. I would guess there's some blend of all three there. The point is you don't have to believe in anything magical for these to still have some effect. So use your intention. Let's bring it in and release. Our last color is golden yellow. We're going to bring that into our stomach and pancreas, which live on the left side of the body. So make sure you're over here on the left. Hands over the rib cage there below your chest. You're going to sink your tailbone, float your crown. And some slow, deep breaths through the nose. Imagine this golden yellow light filling up the left side rib cage, even up to the solar plexus area. Golden yellow light. You might imagine a golden sunrise or sunset. So as though the sun had risen a little more in the sky, or was a little more above the horizon. So the whole sky and horizon was full of golden yellow clouds. You can imagine that you're watching this from the top of a hill covered in golden yellow grass, looking out over many rolling hills of golden yellow grasses, representing that earth element, that stabilizing feeling, balance and centeredness of the earth phase of Qi. Represented by this golden light, golden yellow. Let that down, rest your shoulders. And our final one, super simple. This one is actually also the fire element. It's like a secondary fire element. Connects to a channel we call the triple warmer. It's sort of a channel that goes down through the center of the body, basically. Helps to balance the energy of upper, middle, and lower body. Balance the three burners, these three regions of the chest, solar plexus, and abdomen. So we'll inhale our hands up, exhale down, just using our pulling down the sky motion. And the sound for this one is he. I'm going to whisper again, H-E. In through the nose on the way up. Whispered he on the way down. And this one we imagine the color at the same time. So you're going to imagine a night sky above you. And like purple light comes down from the stars and scans through your body with the sound. So the light, the sound, the attention, the hands all working together to scan through the body, dissolve and clear any remaining stagnant energy. Washing it off to the earth. This one is an overall cleansing and harmonizing. We'll just do one more. Relax, step it in. We already imagined the color with the movements. Now we'll just let that go. Stepping into bamboo in the wind. We just let our body relax and rock and sway as though we were bamboo, swaying with a gentle breeze. We'll close our lips and just breathe gently through the nose. Just find the tip of your tongue, or even the whole flat of the tongue, touching the roof of the mouth here behind your teeth. Not quite touching the teeth, just a little behind. This just helps to seal the channel so the energy can sink from the head down into the rest of the body. The main goal of Qigong is balance and harmony. Not necessarily cultivating some sort of superpower with unlimited infinite energy or unbreakable bones or anything like that. Just to find balance and harmony. Energy circulating smoothly and evenly within. Nowhere with too much energy, nowhere with too little. And maybe from that place of harmony, finding some kind of superhuman ability or something interesting like that. For most people, the main interest should be just cultivating harmony. Harmonizing the emotions, harmonizing the organs, harmonizing the various aspects of our personality. So we always use this last exercise to allow that harmony and circulation to take place. Just like the bamboo yields to the wind, we let our body yield to the flow of energy inside. Very good. Let's step it out. We'll circle the belly. I like to do this little weight shift as I do this, or follow the hands with the weight very subtly. Feel free to just stand still and do it. That feels better to you for some reason. As we do these circles, we're just going to find a few slow, deep breaths. Feel again for the abdominal region moving with the breath. Hands and the breath massaging the internal organs. So again, helping foster that connection and harmony within everything, communicating with each other, integrated, flowing and circulating. We'll center that below the navel. Take a deep breath in and let it release with a sigh. Very good. Feel free to give it a little stretch. Sometimes nice to do just a little intuitive stretching or movement at the end of class. Your body will usually tell you if there's somewhere that feels a little locked up. Maybe needs a massage, that she's a little blocked somewhere. Just kind of feel your body. Where's it at? Where's it asking to move around? Don't be afraid to get a little creative with it. All right. Good stuff. We're a little overtime, so probably won't do a meditation today, but we'll be doing some more meditating in some of these future classes. So if you like that kind of thing, feel free to stick around towards the end for that. Karen says the sounds are plenty clear. Oh, good. Glad you can hear them. Good. Well, thanks for joining me, everybody. Really stoked to be doing this new little schedule here. So we'll try for a couple of weeks and see how it works out. I might tweak it after a couple of weeks and just play with different times to see what people like. But feel free to just let me know if you got any suggestions. Glad you're feeling good, Austin. Thanks, Anata. Also, a quick reminder, next round of the teacher training starts on the 12th. So that's the Sunday after this Sunday. So feel free to join us for that. We got lots of payment plan options available, 3, 6, and 12-month payment plans. I don't think I'll be running my next one till about January. So if you want to do it sooner than later, feel free to jump on in. Got all the, there's a link below in the description on this YouTube video. So it's just my website. So just go to nickloffery.com. First thing you see is a big teacher training banner. Just click that and you'll learn pretty much everything you need to know there about the training. But if you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@nickloffery.com. Also, if you have questions, feel free to show up this Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific time or noon Eastern, or 10 a.m. for you there, Meliakua in Colorado. And we're going to be doing a Qigong Q&A session, not a Qigong Q&A, but just a Q&A session for the Qigong teacher training. That'll be this Sunday, Sunday the 5th at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And of course, you can just watch the replay for that and watch other people's questions. Or feel free to send us in some questions, support@nickloffery.com. Send us your questions, and we'll try to make sure to answer them if you can't make it live. All right, next class is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon New York, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So 11 a.m. Central. Everybody's fine with just hearing Eastern and Pacific, right? Everybody can kind of tell their time zone from those. Maybe not if you're on the other side of the planet, but That's where everybody lives in America, right? It's on the coasts. Nobody lives here in Idaho. All right, guys. Good seeing you. Maybe catch you tomorrow. Maybe catch you another time.